In a dressing room at a seaside castle, a black-haired woman is getting her hair styled by a maid. In a banquet hall, rich-looking people are eating luxurious food. On a stage at the far side of the hall, a scared blonde girl comes out behind a curtain. She is an item sold at an auction and her owner, a glamorous-looking blonde woman, is watching. The slave owner's name is Lady Collide and she is dissatisfied with how cheap the bids are. After the blonde girl is sold, a beautiful silver-haired girl comes out. Suddenly, she chants a spell, creates a key, and frees herself from her handcuffs. With another spell, she creates a rifle and starts shooting the rich people one by one. At the same time, the maid who was taking care of the slave girls backstage takes out a spear and starts fighting the men guarding them, defeating them easily. Back at the hall, the silver-haired girl called Dia continues fighting and the maid called Tardy joins her. While Tardy buys her time, Dia chants a complicated magic formula. Finishing the chant, she causes a big explosion, which serves as a signal to a blue-haired girl called Maha outside the castle. Maha and a white-haired boy called Lu are working together with Dia and Tardy to take down the Marquis Collide, who organized the slave auction. In the castle, Collide hides in a dark room. With his incredibly eyesight, Lu sees her through the visor of his sniper rifle. In the past, in another world, a modern assassin is also killing his targets with a sniper rifle. Seeing a drum in the sky, the sniper urges the woman into their car and starts driving quickly. While they're driving, two other cars appear, driving towards them and shooting at them with mounted guns. Rigging a gun to shoot by itself and jumping out of the car when none can see them, they fake their death in an explosion. Hiding behind a rock, a sniper and the female assassin decide to wait until morning. The next day, the sniper and the female assassin reach a safe house where they find fake passports for the two of them. While they are flying to Japan, something happens. The sniper looks up the news on his phone and sees that his plane has been hijacked. When the hijackers announce they are going to crash the plane, he concludes this is all the organization's plan to assassinate him. Outside, a fighter jet approaches the plane and fires a rocket at it, destroying it completely. A sniper wakes up in a dark void, asking himself why the organization would betray him. Suddenly, a hand reaches out to him and pulls him out. He finds himself in a mystical circle full of purple crystals. A smug white-haired woman appears from out of thin air, sitting on a chair. Introducing herself as Goddess, she tells the sniper she has summoned his soul here after his death. She gives him an offer to either be reborn with his soul wiped or accept a request from her and be reborn in another world, keeping his memories. He would be reborn in a fantasy world of swords and sorcery, where his mission would be to kill the hero. Giving him all the knowledge about the fantasy world's culture, magic, and the hero, she tells him he has 18 years of time to kill his target. She wants to kill the hero because he will defeat the demon lord 16 years after the sniper is reborn. After that, the hero will use his power to plunge the world into chaos. However, the hero has to be killed only after he kills the demon lord. The hero was born with abilities far greater than any other human, possessing 30 skills when normal people only have 5. The sniper says he understands and accepts the mission. In order to help him, Goddess will give him the highest possible stats for a human and he will be able to choose 5 skills and magic attributes, which other humans can't do. After he gets ready, Goddess finally begins the reincarnation process. The sniper will be born into the noble house of Tuatha, a family of assassins. At the next moment, he is born to his mother, a silver-haired woman called Esri. His father, a mustached man called Shan, decides to name him Lu. Shan wants to raise Lu as an assassin, despite Esri's concern. He promises her he will raise the boy strong and do everything to protect his life. 7 years later, Lu is hunting in a forest. Spotting a horned rabbit, he shoots it and brings it home. At his home, Lu cooks a rabbit stew, while his parents observe him proudly. After he finishes eating, he meets with his father in an underground training room. His father observes his body's growth and asks him to demonstrate his assassination forms. Satisfied with Lu's progress, Shan decides to give him the Mystic Eyes soon, a secret technique of the Tuatha family. Using magical surgery, the eyesight is strengthened in every way, even allowing one to see magic energy. Sometime later, Lu is recovering from the surgery, his eyes covered by bandages. After removing his bandages, Lu can see incredibly clear and far. Shan tells him he has found a magic teacher for him, and Lu gets excited. A week later, Esri dresses Lu up like a girl for the arrival of his teacher. Arriving in a coach, we can see his magic teacher is Dia, the silver-haired girl we saw earlier. She is a noble, only 3 years older than Lu, but already a genius at magic. When she notices Lu is doubting her skill, she creates a massive fiery explosion with a spell, surprising him. In a beautiful rose garden, Dia begins assessing Lu's abilities. She gives him a far stone, a stone that can store mana, and tells him to try pouring his mana into it. It turns out he has an incredible amount of mana because of the skills he chose. When the stone threatens to explode in his hand, Lu throws it into the air where it creates a massive explosion. Lu wants more far stones to use as weapons, but Dia doesn't give them to him, saying they're a treasured object from her home region of Vicon. Dia begins teaching Lu how to use magic. Lu figures out he can write his own magic formulas. He writes a list of formulas that create different metals. However, when Dia tries creating gold using a formula, Lu told her the spell doesn't work and she gets a headache. Lu tries it too. He succeeds, concluding he can only do it because he chose the skill that allows him to create his own spells. After some time, Lu and Dia test out spells in a forest where nobody can see them. Lu creates a gun that fires tungsten bullets using fire magic. Next, he creates an incredibly powerful cannon, and Dia concludes she wouldn't be able to use it because she doesn't have as much magic as Lu. The night before Dia leaves, Lu gives her a beautiful knife as thanks for teaching him. She gives him a far stone and makes him promise to come see her when she really needs him. The next day, after Dia leaves in a coach, Cheyenne tells Lu he will teach him the truth about Tuatha. Riding in a coach at sunset, he takes him to a prison full of death row inmates. Cheyenne tells him he raised him as a human, not as a tool. The assassins of Tuatha don't kill because they're ordered to, but because they decide if an assassination will benefit the kingdom. He takes Lu into a prison cell to a female prisoner, who he tells him will be his first kill. He says she robbed an elderly couple's home and killed them when she was seen, after which she burned their house down. The prisoner claims she is innocent and everything that happened was an accident when she visited the couple to beg for food. As she begs Lu to spare her, Lu stoically approaches her and cuts off her hand. Suddenly, she completely switches personalities, saying Shine told her she will be spared if she wins over Lu with her tears. When she curses them both, admitting to her crimes, Lu turns around and kills her by throwing a knife at her head. Sometime later, an exhausted girl is wandering through a forest. Falling on the floor, she remembers how her family abandoned her because there wasn't enough food. The snow starts falling as a pack of wolves surround her. One snowy winter morning, 3 years after Dia left, Lu heads out into the forest to hunt. He hears wolves in the distance and decides to steal their prey. Finding the wolves, Lu notices they have surrounded the poor girl. He kills one of them with an arrow and drops his weapons. Seeing the wolves as a chance for combat training, he creates metal gloves and a blue knife. He kills all the wolves professionally, cutting their spines or crushing their skulls. After the fight, the girl tells him how she was abandoned and that she came here because a traveler told her this region was wealthy. Lu makes a campfire and cooks porridge for her. When Lu tells her he is the son of the Lord of Tuatha, she says that God appeared in her dream and told her she would have a fateful encounter. Recognizing this as significant, Lu invites the girl to come live with him. When he says he needs her, she's happy, since no one has ever said they need her. Lu tells her she will have to help him with his work if she comes with him, which will involve killing people. The girl introduces herself as Tardy and says she would help him in any way she can. 2 years later, Lu is woken up by Tardy, who now lives with him and looks beautiful. She has become Lu's personal servant and his family's maid. The whole family eats breakfast together, satisfied with her service. After breakfast, Tardy meets Lu at the underground training room. Much like his father has been training him, Lu has been training Tardy as an assassin for the last 2 years. Her combat training has been progressing slowly, but Lu trusts her because she is hardworking. She can only use a spear, which isn't a weapon suitable for assassination. One night, while Tardy is training, Lu visits her and gives her a new spear which she can fold up. Proving herself skilled with her new spear, Lu is satisfied with her. One day, Shen invites Lu to the training room and tells him he has only 2 more training exercises to complete. After that, Shen is going to recognize him as a full member of the family and let him handle assassination jobs. The first exercise is fighting Shen himself. They both go into the forest at night and conceal themselves. When Lu spots his father, they start fighting. After losing and finding Cheyenne several times, Lu closes his eyes and concentrates. When his father throws 2 knives at him, Lu dodges them both. Cheyenne jumps at him from the shadows, but Lu manages to reverse the attack and put his knife at his neck, winning the fight. As the sun is coming up, Cheyenne praises Lu for not using magic and relying on his physical abilities. Saying he has nothing more to teach him, Cheyenne says now Lu only needs experience. Over the next several days, Lu joins Cheyenne on his assassination jobs, observing his techniques and assisting him. Cheyenne kills his targets in a variety of ways, stabbing them, poisoning them, or setting fires. While they are returning home one day, Cheyenne tells Lou another important aspect of being an assassin is disguising oneself and concealing one's identity. Cheyenne reveals he prepared a fictional identity for Lou. He will become Ili Balor, the bastard son of the head of Baylor Trading Company. Until Lou turns 14, he will train to become a merchant. The next day, Lou and Tardy depart for the town of Miltu, where Lou will assume his new identity. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.